Mark Meadows has been making headlines all week, obviously for all horrible reasons, releasing these text messages and the PowerPoint he gave to the committee. But there's another thing that Meadows was in the headlines for that kind of flew under the radar a little bit. It was another revelation from his book that came out about a week and a half ago, where he revealed that it was actually Ivanka Trump's idea to have Donald Trump go to St. John's Church in the summer of 2020 and take that idiot, ridiculous photo op where he's just holding up the Bible like he's... I'm sure we all remember that, right? And it was Ivanka's idea. Which makes a lot of sense because that was one of the stupidest, most transparent attempts at pandering I've ever seen in politics. So yes, it's not surprising that it came from somebody as, like Ivanka. Not exactly a brilliant political mind we're talking about here. In fact, she knows nothing about politics, so yes, it would make sense. And Meadows said that she did this because she said he needs to send a message to the Christian community that we're there with you. And we all remember what happened in the lead up, of course, to that photo that caused a lot of backlash, definitely from the left, but even some on the right. Because they had to clear out the protesters that were there because this was during the George Floyd protests that were taking place across the country. So they sent their little troops out there and they gassed everybody, forcibly removed them, violated their First Amendment rights, abused them, just so Donald Trump could walk across the street and hold up his little Bible and say, I forget exactly how he was holding it, but he was holding it like a man who's never held a book in his life. And it was all Ivanka's idea. Mark Meadows totally just threw her under the bus and said, hey, remember the stupid thing that happened last summer? Yeah, that was Ivanka. That's how horrible she was at her job. Again, not surprising. But again, they had to effectively torture people in order to get Donald Trump to be able to walk across the street. So, yeah. Is this relevant to news today? Absolutely not. But I do want to talk about this for one specific reason, and it's the reason why Ivanka Trump told him to do this. To send a message to our followers of faith. If you call yourself a Christian and you support Donald Trump, then I have bad news for you. You're not actually a Christian. If you're a member of the evangelical religious right and you worship Donald Trump as if he were a god himself, congratulations, that is a hell-worthy trespass. That is literally going against the Ten Commandments themselves. I am the Lord thy God. You shall have no other gods above me. But that is what you've done. Donald Trump is not a religious man. And you know what? That's actually okay. I'm not saying that to attack him. I am saying that to these religious folk out there that somehow think he is. I'm not a religious person. I couldn't tell you the last time I went to church, but I can promise you it was when I was in high school, not including weddings and funerals. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're not a person of faith, you're not a person of faith. You can have your own personal beliefs, whatever, but it's when you turn religion into a weapon to pander to anyone on either side, whatever it is, that's when you're bastardizing it. And that's when you're leading people away from the real teachings in that book that Donald Trump looked like it was very painful for him to hold in his hand.